Darth Maul, a Force-sensitive Zarbak. He was taken at a young age by the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious, who anointed his first Sith Apprentice, Darth Maul. Through his training, Maul grew strong in the dark side of the Force, becoming an expert lightsaber duelist and an assassin who yearned to reveal the Sith. Hello, and welcome to another Centurions video, and welcome back to my corner. And today I'm bringing you a review of Darth Maul from the new Archive series. So I picked him up from a toy hunt the other day. It's $19.99. It's one per customer, as I don't want you to purchase them all. And yeah, I've been really looking forward to Darth Maul. When I first started collecting Black Series, I did see him in the Entertainer. He was £20, and they wouldn't drop him down because his box was damaged. And I know I don't keep the boxes, but you know, I tried my luck and see if I could knock them down a little bit. Unfortunately, they wouldn't budge, and I kind of knew. I think it was already just said that these ones were coming out. So I thought, well, we got the new face sculpt and the new face printing and everything that's coming out. So I thought, I'd hold off. I might as well, if I'm going to spend £20, then I might as well get the new Archive one that's coming out. So yeah, I mean, here he is in his Archive box. So it's just a standard blister pack, and you've got his pencil drawing at the front. Now, there's not much really to say on the side, on either side, apart from Darth Maul there. And on the back, got his bio and how he used to look in 2013. It's like years ago. So, with anticipation, without further ado as well, let's crack this bad boy open. Okay, so here's Darth Maul out of his blister pack. So he's got all his accessories just on show, with his hidden head in the bottom right hand side, which would normally sit behind the cardboard. So it's unfortunate that Hasbro do that, because I can imagine there's fewer people out there that might get poor paint applications on their head. So it would be nice to have him on show, so you could actually choose which head you wanted. And they probably don't do that just to the inconsistency on paint jobs. And you might have ones that sit on the shelf that have a bad paint job, but I don't know what their intentions are. I don't know why they don't have all the accessories on show, to be honest. It just seems a bit weird. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just pop him out of his blister pack, have a little look over him, and then I'll take him away and have a look at all his articulation, so I can actually bring you guys a bit more of an in-depth review rather than a sort of like first kind of look review. So let's get him out. His cape is actually a lot softer than I thought, actually. I thought it was going to be quite a hardish sort of plastic, but it's really soft. To be honest, like first impressions, he looks really cool. It looks a lot better than I thought. When I have a little review over him, I have got this guy here, and he was a Darth Maul that came out with the Disney Elite figures, which was about the same time as these guys come out. So a little bit later on, I'll do a little comparison with him as well, and we go from there. So I'll go away now, take a few pictures, and I'll see you in a mo. Okay, so this is him out of the packet. I've had a bit of a play, and I've taken a few photos and just trying to get his posability down to a T, really, just to see what this Darth Maul can do. I know he come out 2013, and this is his re-release, but this is the first time I've had this Maul, so I'm going to sort of review him as a new figure and not what he kind of should have had back in the day. So, as we always start, we're going to have a look at his accessories first, and we go through all those little bits, and then we'll look at the sculpt of the figure. Okay, first thing I'm going to look at is his accessories, starting with his binoculars, or his electro binoculars I think they're called. So these actually look 10 times better than anything that other sort of characters come with. Normally, like, their guns are sort of like half cooked to me, like not got much paint apps on there, so they've actually gone to town on this one. You've got the gold that's all painted over the silver to create like a rusted look, or a bit of a weathered look really. You've got the buttons individually painted. You've got the front and the grips painted black, and it's even got a different type of yellow as well for the knobs and the dials on the side. And just for like these little set of binoculars, it's pretty well done. You can't get anything better than that. You can hold them okay. You can't hold them to his head, unfortunately. You can't create that iconic scene. You kind of just do the one where he's just kind of, he's had a look and he's just putting them back down. So yeah, he just can't get up there with his arms, unfortunately, and this robe really sort of kind of puts a damper on that. So the other accessory we can look at while he's here, we'll just look at his cape. So I quite like the cape when I first got it out, but upon playing with the figure and try and pose him in those sort of iconic scenes that he's on Tatooine fighting Qui-Gon Jinn, you just can't do it. It's so restrictive around him that I think I would rather it cloth, and I'm not a cloth kind of person when it comes to accessories, but yeah, it just doesn't really sit well. It's sort of, if you just want him to stand in there, that's fine, but if you want to make it with his arms crossed, you know, to be there saying at last we revealed ourselves, you know, you can't even achieve that. It just hinders him so much. This is literally the only pose that you could get out of him. It's just standing there meaningful like this. So it's a bit of a bummer really. I mean, just taking this off and having a sort of a deeper, closer look at it. So it is an alternative head. It fits onto the robe, and you've got to take it all off completely. So it's got a good face sculpt on there, and it actually goes all the way up as well. It's even got his ears and everything in there as well. I don't know how far it goes up. I think it's just underneath there, but he has got like a sculpted sort of like horns in the top of his hood, which is pretty cool, which you wouldn't get from a sort of soft goods cape. And it all works down here. The cape looks good. It does look good. However, it just doesn't work. You know, it's sculpted, so it's going to look good, but it just doesn't work. And I think the soft goods would do better with it, to be honest. But bear in mind, he was in the first release that come out, and they probably thought that these will work better than soft goods. I would rather an alternative head and a soft goods cape, I think. So a bit of a sort of like a grrr face kind of, you know, with his teeth showing. So this is his alternative head. I think they're very much the same sort of. You've got the same sort of attitude on there. But no, it's done well. So while we're here, we just look at his alternative head. It's nice up and close. So it's got all the paint apps, it's got all the red around the horns and his eyes. So this has got the new photo sort of esque printing on there. Just trying to zoom in for you. There we go. His eyes are not piercing as much as I would say they should be. They should be a bit more yellow than that. And the other the other accessory that he comes with is obviously his lightsaber. And it's painted well. You know, the grey bit does look a bit plasticky, and it is a bit bendy. But this is, again, you know, it's a good saber. So everything's removable as well. So we can remove blades, one end and the other end. So we can just have his hilt. and also when they get busted they can break in half. So then you've got 2. And also it's got the peg on there, so you can actually plug that into his clip on his belt, and there he goes. You can have it there. So for accessories it's not too bad, but I've got a few sort of dampers on him. I would like him to have his comlink. I used to have a Kenner one years ago. I think it was the one that come with his bike or something like that, and he had a little clip. It's just a little silver clip that went over his wrist, and it was his little comlink to sort of send out his little droids to go and seek Anakin and Obi-Wan and everything like that. And the other little grape that I have as well is his lightsaber. Now it is pretty cool, you know. They have done it to a T, but unfortunately it does bend. So because of that connection in the middle, it's really weak, and the peg's not long enough. So I would probably like a stiffer, longer one. Yeah, I did say that, but it just bends in the middle. Because when I come to the posability for Maul, I'll show you why, which we'll go on to that now actually. So okay, so you can look down this much, and then you can look up this much. His head goes left and right. We can rotate all around. His shoulders got a swivel. His elbows have a 90-degree bend and also rotate. His wrists rotate, and they are also on a hinge. His waist rotates. And then you can look down this far, and you can crawl back that far. His legs can kick that far forward, and he can kick that far back. There's a double jointed knee, which is quite a good bend on there. You also got a rocker, and you got a pivot as well on his ankle. So in all, his articulation is not too bad. But the problem that I have with Darth Maul is his posability. His legs are brilliant. You couldn't ask for anything better on his legs. They're very bendable, they go the way you want, and they're quite good weighted as well, so it does hold the figure very well. The only thing with his arms is that because he hasn't got a butterfly sort of joint up here, he's very sort of rigid. So if you wanted to do a double sabred kind of sort of combination, this is about as close you're going to get. But because the lightsaber is very sort of bendy in the middle, it's always going to cause like a bonus with it. It's never like a nice straight upwards. So that's the big problem really. And then when you're trying to pose him, then it'll break in half. You've got to pull it back together again, and then it won't be quite right because the way that his hands are holding the lightsaber. So for that, he really drops down in my opinion. It's like Hasbro, you know, you're designing a guy that holds a double lightsaber, but you're not creating his arms to actually replicate that. And this is what I mean. So you get his lightsaber together, and it just sits like that most of the time. So you can't get a nice good pose again, you know, when he's in his robe. Because of the thickness of the robe, it causes his arms to get this close. So the lightsaber is really kind of sort of at its last sort of tether. Okay, so the next thing we'll look at is his sculpt. We already looked at his head, so we'll look a little bit closer at his robes that he comes with. So starting from his torso, I think these robes that come down here, they're done very well. Kind of look quite like the material that was used in the film. You've got all the wrinkles that go down, and then you've got his underrobe as well, which is inside, and then obviously his wrinkled sleeves as well. Now this is only another bit that a little let down as well, is that these sleeves should be the same material as his top part. So for me, it goes very sort of like a very sort of smooth. It's very, doesn't look like the same thing. It kind of looks like he's got a little jacket over the top of these, so these look like they're underneath that part. So when it comes over the back, it just looks really smooth, and at the front underneath this as well. So moving downwards, you've got his tabard parts here, done very well, and they use soft goods underneath so it doesn't hinder his movement. And underneath his skirt, it's very sort of basic at the top, a couple of little creases, and then moving down to the bottom of where it all congregates, just above his boot, there's a bit more of a sculpt on there, and you can actually see there's a slight texture as well over the leg. And then the next part is his glossy boots, and these are kind of like motorcycle boots, and he's actually got the grips on the side for detailing. He's got his little badge bits at the front, just there, and also you've got the on the other side, you've got the detailing again on the boot. And going around the back, they even got the clips and the ribbon as well. So that's really done really well on the boots. So the other parts that's done really well is his gloss hands, and they just go around, and they're just plain black gloves, but that's all he uses, so it comes out quite well. And his belt, so it goes, got the part there, and the more detailing at the front. There's a Covertech clip just there. So his sculpting is pretty cool, apart from just that part of his robe. And this is just a comparison for people that didn't collect the Disney Elites as well. So here he is. He's a little bit bigger than a Black Series Darth Maul, but he was really small compared to most of the other ones. I've got a die-cast Stormtrooper here from the Elite series, just to show you a comparison. So he doesn't even fit on the camera, that's how tall he is. So he was really considerably small compared to the rest. But as you can see, the sculpting up close, it's just not right. It's not as good as the Black Series, which I thought these guys were. When they first come out, I thought these guys were a lot better. They just got their facial features look a bit more. I do prefer his red though on his face than the other Darth Maul. I think it's just a little bit too bright. But his articulation is just literally at the shoulders, and it bends out. He only has a 90 degree at the arm, no swivel. Swivel at the wrist, and that is it. Swivel at the waist, just a little bit. His head swivels, and kind of sort of does the little bit of rocker. And his knees has 1 point articulation, and he does have a rocker and a pivot on his feet. And he can just kick up and back. But if you wanted to do a double pose of his lightsaber, you've got no chance, because that's as close as his arms get together. But his torso's metal, his legs are metal, his feet are plastic, his hands are plastic, and his head's plastic. And then he's got these god-awful massive holes in his back. But it's definitely an upgrade. Okay, so overall, Darth Maul's pretty cool. There's only a few little grapes there. His sculpt there on his robe, yeah, you know, it's passable. It's fine. That's just me being a little bit going through with a fine-tooth comb. The only thing that I really do say that lets him down is his arms. So I wouldn't say he's the definitive Darth Maul. I reckon they could do better, but for now they're just re-releasing him in archive. I can't see him coming out very soon in any form or other ways, because this is the only time really in the movies that we see Darth Maul. And if they do bring out another Darth Maul, it's going to be a Rebels version, or maybe a Clone Wars version where he's got robot legs, or hopefully maybe even a solo version. But for now, I would definitely go out there and give him a purchase, especially now while he's $19.99, new archive series, and he's got the new face printing. It's definitely worth a pick up. Right, so that's my review of Darth Maul. Hope you guys enjoyed. Give us a comment down below, subscribe, ding that bell for regular content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!